From Chrysler Arena to courts around the world, they wore the maize and blue, and now they're bringing you the game, inside and out. Hail Media presents Nolan and Hobbs, the Women's Hoop Homecourt podcast, hosted by Maddie Nolan and Jordan Hobbs.
Hello, everyone, and welcome back to the Nolan and Hobbs show with me, Maddie Nolan, and my co-host, Jordan Hobbs. Jade, why don't you tell us where you're at, actually, to start off the episode?
Guys, the light coming onto me is direct sunlight because I'm back in America, baby. I couldn't be happier. I got back on Sunday. We're recording this on Thursday. Yeah, right now I'm at our family's lake house, which is the first time I'm seeing it. It just got done last fall. My whole family's gotten to enjoy it, and I was stuck in Italy and just seeing it through videos, so it's been nice to be here and relaxed. But yeah, America, I forgot about a lot of things that are really nice about living here.
I was going to say, what are your, three things since you've been back that you're just like, wow, this is, so different, or you're just, you missed while you were in Europe?
An underrated one, I would say, is speaking English to anyone and everyone that I went to, and just, how friendly people are, even just when you're buying something at the store and they're, just striking up a conversation. So I would say that's number one. Number two, iced coffee for sure. I had 3 in the first 12 hours that I was home, so I really relished that. What's third? The third one, another underrated one, is how soft the sheets and towels are, because I think it has some correlation with the dryer makes things softer, and there's no dryers in Europe really. And so then it just gets all crusty from air drying every time. So I slept in the bed the first night and I was like, oh my gosh, I don't even know what I was doing in Italy. This is the best sleep I've ever gotten in my life.
No, 100%. Jordan texted Greta and I about that, and I was like, wait, such a good point. Just something you don't think about right away as much as iced coffee or speaking English, but that makes actually a huge difference. So glad you made it home safe, Jay. Congrats on a great first season overseas. So proud of you through the highs and lows, and we're so excited to see what's next for you.
Thank you. Thank you. Yeah, we'll see if any W teams want me or whatever it might be. Wherever next year takes me as well overseas will be fun to find out.
It's exciting. Okay, so obviously good and tough weekend for Michigan. Second ever Elite Eight in program history, beating Louisville by almost 20, which just really made my heart happy, because obviously Louisville was the team that beat us to go to the Final Four. So I was just like, wow, this feels a little bit like revenge from that. So heart was happy there. Jay, thoughts on that game? What did you see? Yeah.
I texted Maddie early on, and guys, you can blame me for not having faith in our girls. And I was like, we might lose this game because they just didn't really look like themselves. And for my, I don't know why I thought this, because it's happened before against these really good teams, UCLA, Vanderbilt, UConn, where they get down and then they claw themselves out of it. And that's exactly what they did in this Louisville game. Got down by a good amount and fought their way back. And they went on some huge runs in this game, 18-0, 15-0 at one point. So they played so well after about the first quarter. I loved the production from Taylor Delfosse. I thought if Michigan was going to make a run in this tournament, she was going to be a key player, and that she did. 10 points off the bench, 4 for 5, 8 rebounds. She just affected the game at all levels. And then you have Brooke Quarles-Daniels, who was an absolute menace on the boards. The announcers couldn't stop talking about her. Jeff Walz shouted her out. So if he's giving her some praise, that she is a really prominent player on the court. She had 7 offensive rebounds. I know that's not very uncommon for her to have, but just when the lights are shining bright and she's producing this way, it was just huge for Michigan to come out that way. But yeah, it was really fun to watch after the first quarter, and I was really excited, and it's nice to be a fan and not have to be too stressed down the stretch.
You think being a fan is better? I think it's worse.
That's a good point. I just think it's when it's a 20-point game in the fourth quarter, I'm like, okay, I can breathe. But yeah, when you're a player, you can kind of control it. And I like that better. But if it's a close game, being a fan, I hate it. But as a player, I kind of liked those moments.
Okay. Because I was just thinking about when I came to watch you guys play at Notre Dame last year against Iowa State, and I literally thought I was gonna have a heart attack. Like, I was so stressed. I like turned to my mom, and I think the Rico fam, the Barnes Rico fam was around me too. I'm like, how do you guys do this? Like, I just can't. Like, my heart is beating way too fast. Like, this is just
Yeah.
not for me. It's way easier to be out there. In my opinion.
I would
But
agree with that.
yeah, I mean, as Jordan said, I think I'm bad luck, to be honest, because I had a game on Saturday, so I only got to watch the first quarter, and so when I turned it off, I was like, I don't know, I had just like was not feeling good. And then one of my teammates was asking me about how Michigan was doing in March Madness. I'm like, actually, like, let me see your phone real quick, like pull up the score, and they were up at half, and I was like, okay, I feel a little bit better. But second and third quarters were huge. Michigan outscoring Louisville 23-12 in the second quarter, third quarter 25-13. As Jordan said, just really impressive for them to obviously not have the best start, but to be able to take a breath. Like, I think after someone had a turnover, you could see Sila just being like calm, like, we're good. And that was really, really cool. And something Jordan and I, like we talked about with the UConn, UCLA, Vandy games this year, of them just being able to like, all right, we got punched first. How are we going to attack back? And that's what we saw in this game. And obviously continued attacking until the end, winning by 19 points in a Sweet 16 game is very, very impressive, especially against a very well coach team. Jeff Walz, like we said, is one of the best coaches in the country. So yeah, big shout out. So excited. Now we have 2 Elite Eights in program history, which is really fun. And hopefully the next couple years we'll get over that hump and reach the Final Four.
Definitely. Just super exciting for them to get back to that moment and just continue to build on it. When we got to the Elite Eight, Maddie's junior year, my freshman year, it was kind of hard to build on that because you're losing Nas, and Emily Kaiser came back for her 5th year, but just like a huge integral piece of your offense, you're losing to graduation. And this time around, they get to build on these sophomores that have had really successful seasons and hopefully just continue to get better and continue to grow with one another and build that chemistry. But that brings us to the Elite Eight game against Texas, which was a little tough. Maddie, what did you think about that game?
Yeah, I mean, they're a 1 seed for a reason. I've been watching them play all year long. Texas, obviously, and as well as Michigan, but Texas, been watching them play. Their defense, I honestly think it's probably the best defense in the country. It's up there with South Carolina. I don't really know which one's better. It's going to be interesting. I mean, we saw them play 3 times this year as well. You could tell they did a really, really good job of making Michigan uncomfortable. They just have size at every position except the point guard spot, but Rory Harmon's one of the best point guards in the country. I think she has all-time steals record at Texas. She might have all-time assist as well. Just a really great point guard. Has been fun to watch. But yeah, you could just kind of tell. Also, Texas has the experience piece. I can't remember if I texted you, Jordan, but I definitely texted my mom, and I said, I think a big piece of this is everyone's first time in the Elite Eight, and even I believe in the Sweet 16, because Crockett has never been to a Sweet 16 either. So all of these kids have never experienced playing this far into the tournament, and that's in itself is at a disadvantage to Texas, who almost everyone played in the Final Four last year. And it seems like a silly thing, but it really does make a huge difference of just like Texas can kind of be calm in the sense of we've been here before, where obviously Michigan, you're very excited to be there, but it's a whole new stage for everyone on the team. And I think that's what Jordan said is going to be the exciting part for next year, is that they can build off of this. Obviously, losing Crockett, Allie, and Brooke is going to be tough, leadership and on the court wise, but you return a majority of your points and a majority of every other statistical category. And we've seen the sophomores grow as leaders this year on the court. So I'm just really excited for what's to come. And this obviously wasn't their best game, but it's a really good learning point in their careers. It's like it's the midpoint of their career, right? So it's going to be really interesting to see how they respond to this game. How about you, Jay?
Those are all great points. I think you hit the nail on the head. I think Michigan kind of came out that game, and I noticed they seemed more frazzled than they normally have been before. You know, I think in those other big games, you're the big underdog, and in the regular season is what I'm referring to. But when you get to the Elite Eight, it's kind of like anyone's ball game. And it's 1 versus 2 seed at that point. Whereas when you played UConn, we were still in the top 10, but it's like you're playing UConn in Connecticut, like you kind of have the benefit of the doubt. And I agree. I think just the moment was really big, and I think they're going to learn from this and continue to grow. Texas played so physical, and I'm sure a lot of the people watching this saw the clips on Twitter and whatnot of just like how they were fouling us. I texted Maddie and I was like, I'm getting genuinely pissed off with how much they're fouling, and the refs were not calling anything. And
I was so mad.
I think like you can use that as an excuse for sure. But I also just think that kind of rattled Michigan early. And if you're not getting those calls early, it's really frustrating, and you can kind of just like get down on yourself. And not that they really were, but I think it can to some extent affect you the rest of the game. So that was really frustrating to watch from our end. We were really annoyed. Another thing that we couldn't really do anything about was Texas size. Kyla Oldeker came in the game and was just, knocking our girls over. Rebecca Lobo said it was like bowling pins because 2 of our girls tried to take a charge and they fell and they just caught a block. So that was rough. Michigan's posts have been solid all season. It's just like you can't really compete with size like that. So that was tough for the girls. But yeah, Michigan lost 41-77. Texas is advancing to the Final Four, which will be played this weekend. So stay tuned to watch the Final Four teams. But Maddie, I feel like it's come to a time where you have these top 4 teams that are so dominant that are in the Final Four this year. And then you have like Michigan who's trying to get there and they're on the brink of it. What do you think pushes them over the edge to get to that Final Four?
Yeah, that's a really good question. I do think not having Macy Brown was a tough time in this tournament. And I don't mean that in the sense of she's not scoring 20 points a game, but she can come in and run the offense and kind of like she has the experience. She's a junior. She can be a calming presence. She's really good at bringing the energy. So I think next year with her being out, unfortunately, obviously sending like prayers to Macy. And we know she'll come back even stronger and we'll be cheering her on through the process. But I think getting another point guard to come in for Mila, or even you could play Mila off the ball, but a lot of times just getting another PG who's maybe had some experience, hopefully in the tournament, but if not at a high level, and is used to playing that spot. And then I think the other thing Michigan really needs is a big, like a huge big, like Texas, right? That's what we've kind of talked about all year long. And I think it doesn't even mean necessarily that you have to play Kendall Dudley and Ashley with the big. It means you have options. So you could start a 2-post lineup and move Olivia to the 3. You could also play how they did this year because we saw how elite Olivia is at the 4, and it's a matchup nightmare for a lot of teams to have to try and figure out who's guarding Olivia, who's guarding Sila, who's guarding Mila, who's guarding Brooke. Like having 4 guards essentially on the court is super tough. But then you see with the Texas, with the UConn game, even with the Vandy game, especially with the UCLA game, all having super big physical bigs is the difference. And like we said, Ashley and Kendall have done a great job. They just provide a different look for Michigan than a 6'5" and above like built person is what we need. Like go get your butt in the paint and like contest shots, block shots, get rebounds, like push some people around. I think those are going to be the 2 really big pieces. Obviously you lose Brooke. But yeah, I think Tayala is going to continue to improve, and that kind of fills that spot in my mind, at least, and provides length. But I'll be really interested to see what the portal holds for Michigan. What are your thoughts on that, Jay?
Honestly, I agree completely, especially with the big. That's a great point about the point guard, because I think sometimes Mila can get sped up and just like kind of needs a breather, just like literally 1 minute on the bench. And I think Coach Arico needs someone to trust that she can put in the game to run the offense and not have a drop off. So I love that point from you, but agree on the big 100%. And I think Ashley and Kendall are really good for the system because Michigan wants to play so fast. And so they're able to run the court and they're able to be athletic bigs. And I think you don't want to get rid of that. But to Maddie's point, you want someone that even maybe they can just come off the bench if Michigan is facing one of these big schools that have a 6'5" girl, and just to throw a different look, because also you don't want to get rid of Ashley and Kendall because they can run these posts and make them tired and throw them a different look, but you also need someone off the bench if that post is killing them or really getting their work down low on offense and really scoring every
Mhm.
time. You need someone that can come in and stop them and just throw them a different look. And I think it would just be good for Michigan offensively too if they could play fast and get these looks, and then maybe the opponent's defense adjusts and then they can throw another big body in there and get some down low touches and play a little bit more through a post, and then hopefully you get some more looks for your shooters. I mean, we saw it this year how hard it was for Sila to get her shots. And I think if you have that down low presence where you are forcing them to
Mhm.
throw double teams at you, that's going to open up your shooters so much more. And I think Sila will be able to like breathe a little bit from the 3-point line and not have to shoot the ball so quickly. I mean, she has an insanely quick shot and it's really effective, but it might just give her a little bit of an extra second to get her shot up. So I agree. Those are really important for Michigan. I just saw actually today Audi Crooks entered the portal and Michigan fans are all over that. They're like, bring her to Michigan, bring her to
No, I
Michigan.
don't
So
want her for Michigan. No, I don't want her for Michigan. No, no,
I think she's too
completely
slow,
no.
to be honest,
Absolutely
and
not.
I don't even think she's probably asking for, like, at least 1 million in the portal, so I think that money can be used elsewhere, but I yeah, I agree. I don't really need her.
I don't think she fits in the system. Like, take out the press. And like you said, I loved your point about getting Sila more shots. I also think when you have a big that can set screens, they're so much harder to get around because they're big.
Yes.
And the post defender isn't going to be able to get around the screen. Or if they do, then you have the switch, you have the mismatch. And so that's just another point as well. But I don't, like you said, I don't think we need to completely change the system at all. It worked for a reason. The Elite Eight is great. I just think it gives Michigan more depth and more rotations like that they're capable of playing against those better teams. Back to the Audi Crooks. I don't think she's good for Michigan because she's too slow. I think she has to be the center of the offense, and that's just not what Michigan needs right now. Like, they
Yeah.
have their main pieces. They need more complementary pieces around what they already have. I also think she's not good at defense, and Michigan is big on defense. And I just don't think it would make sense fit-wise. I'll be really intrigued to see where she goes. I saw someone say, put her at IU, and I was like, at first, like, no. And then I was like, actually, low key, that kind of makes it. They're kind of rebuilding. They have a couple kids in the portal. They're rebuilding. They lose Shea
Mhm.
Chetsky to the draft or to being a senior, to graduation, whatever you want to call it. So they're looking kind of for someone to be that person. Like, they need someone that demands attention and demands. I can't really see her at. I'm gonna say this, and she's gonna go to like an SEC school. Can't really see her at an SEC school because of the defensive aspect. Like, I just don't think like the balls. I think they're too athletic for her to play there. I think it's gonna be Big 10 or Big 12, maybe ACC. That would be really interesting. But I would say she's probably the biggest name in the portal that I've seen. And actually, this is the craziest part. The portal's not even open yet.
Yeah, and there's already, I think, over 350 people that have, like, declared or something like that, which is crazy. I think grad transfers can be in the portal at any time, so I think Audi Crooks graduated, so
Yes.
that's why she's, like, technically in it, but I saw another pretty big name, Laney Grant from UNC. Michigan actually recruited her. She committed when she was maybe a freshman or sophomore in high school. She was really young, but I remember she came on recruiting visits and I was her host, and she was a really good guard. I don't really see Michigan going after her because they have their guards filled for the next 2 years at least. But yeah, that's another big name just to watch out for. But I would honestly hate to see Audi Crooks in the Big Ten if I was a Michigan player. I did not like playing her at Iowa State. That was not a fun matchup. She is very big, very talented offensively. So that will be interesting to see. But yeah, the portal technically opens after the Final Four. And that's when things really kind of get moving and
Mm.
shifting around and things get really interesting. So we'll keep you updated on that front.
Yeah, and with the Michigan season coming to an end, obviously there's still a lot to cover, but if you guys have anything that you want us to talk about, we have ideas, but if you guys want to see anything specific, please leave it in the comments and we'll definitely be taking a look at those and trying to keep you updated on obviously all things Michigan women's basketball, but maybe some other little surprises throughout the summer, which could be kind of fun.
Okay, before we close, we got South Carolina versus UConn and then Texas versus UCLA, both on Friday. Maddie, predictions for both those games, and then who do you think's winning it all?
Oh my. So I made 2 brackets, sue me. One obviously had Michigan winning the Natty. My other bracket has UCLA. After watching Texas, I don't know if UCLA is going to make it to the finals, but they did play earlier in the season with Texas winning. That's UCLA's only loss on the season, but that was earlier in the season. So obviously both teams have improved a lot. Oh, this is so hard. I don't really know. I think UConn's going to beat South Carolina. They look good. This is really hard. I think I'm going to go UConn, Texas, and then UConn for the repeat, honestly. Who do you got, Jay? I don't know. That's really hard. That's a tough.
In my bracket, I have UConn winning. And I think I had Texas in the finals. I'm keeping that. Between Texas and UConn, honestly, just based on how Texas played against Michigan, I was incredibly impressed. I'm just gonna take Texas just to change it up a little bit. Maybe we can see who wins between us. I think if they play as well as they did against Michigan and the defense that they played, I think they can win it. I definitely think they're beating UCLA though, just with how good they've been playing this tournament.
And honestly, they hit a lot of shots, Texas against Michigan, obviously, but they were 3 of 19 from the 3-point line. And I know I was watching, and every time they shot a 3, I was like, no, because it was when Michigan would kind of be making a comeback. And a lot of them went in and out. Jordan Lee, I think, is one of the best players in the country, and she did not really have that great of a game offensively against Michigan. And so I think that's really scary going forward for her opponent. So I think that's going to be something to look out for. The UConn Texas game could feed families for real. Like, my mom was like, what does that mean? I said that about the Arizona Michigan game, men's game the other day, me and my brother. And it basically means it's going to be such a good game that, like, you're going to be full. Like, you don't need anything else. And that's like how you would explain it, right, Jay?
Yeah, that's hilarious that Chris was like, what? My mom would be the same way.
She's like, But I think Texas, UConn would feed families as well. Purely, like, the Booker, Sarah Strong, I don't know if they would guard each other. In my mind, they do. Would be such an interesting. And then you have KK Arnold, Rory Harmon, AZ Jordan Lee matchup. Like, it goes down the line. Like, that would be insane. I think that would be a really fun game. I think any
honestly,
game in the Final Four is going to be really fun, if I'm being completely honest.
That's fair. I just hope it happens. So we're going to root for, even though we typically root for Big Ten teams in March, I think I'm just going to want Texas to win because I need to see that matchup.
Such a good point. Yeah, we are supposed to root for Big Ten teams. Well,
All right,
we can cheer for UCLA, but kind of think Texas is going to win. I don't know. Okay, so just a little update for everyone in the Nolan and Hobbs bracket challenge. In first place, we have Darby Michigan podcast with UCLA as winning it all. In second, we have KB Slay. They have UConn winning it all. And then currently we have a 4-way tie for third. Hobbs with the sunglass emoji. Wonder who that is. BCC Chicago's picks 1. Drats 9. And ESPN fan with a bunch of numbers. They didn't change their name, so you know who you are. But they have UCLA. Jay has UConn. BCC has UCLA. And then the ESPN fan has UConn. Lots up in the air right now in the bracket challenge. So we'll be sure to update you when that is over. Jordan maybe trying to make a run for first place. I guess we'll see. Could be.
Yeah.
I
don't know if I can catch
Jordan
Darby.
picking brackets at 89%. That's impressive.
Congrats to the women's basketball team on a great season. It was so fun to watch you guys and to talk about you guys. We will not stop talking about you until next season, so continue to watch the podcast. Make sure to tune into the Final Four that starts Friday, and we will catch you guys next time. Go Blue!
If you like this kind of content, please like, share, follow, and subscribe. And as always, go Blue!
I'm just gonna take Texas just to swim. Wait, what? Okay. Congrats to the Michigan Wolverines women's basketball. Wow. So without further ado, no. Okay. Make sure to tune into You just laughed late because of my blagging, but anyway, all right, here we go. I'm gonna lock in. Make sure to tune into the Final Four. It starts on Friday. So
Okay, Doug, stop the recording so Jordan can stop lagging.